Alright, it's time to get my review done for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, at least the spoilers. What the hell? Hey everyone, welcome to my review of the Marvel Disney Plus series called Moon Knight. Now, this video will be containing non-spoilers and spoilers, so just stick around for the non-spoilers. I'll toss it up over here, and for the spoilers is right over here. So you can go to either one of those time frames, whichever one you decide. So let's get right to the review. Okay, so starting off with the non-spoilers, when it comes to Moon Knight, this show was completely what I didn't expect at all. I'm not really familiar with the Moon Knight character, and I wasn't really excited with the show, but I was familiar with Oscar Isaac's work, especially within Star Wars, so I had a feeling the show might be good. And from some of the things that I heard within the Marvel fan base, there was some pretty interesting things, and I was like, okay, that could be pretty cool. That could be pretty interesting to see. And Oscar Isaac sells it in this. This is probably the best performance, in my opinion, that Oscar Isaac does throughout the entire show, and I absolutely love it. And I was really hooked on with the first episode, where it kind of explores with the character of Steven, and it gradually goes through the character of Mark by, I believe, episode 2, 3. I think it's about episode 3 where we actually get to explore the character of Mark a little bit more than Steven. And then obviously the very end of it, we end up exploring another version of the character known as Jake Lockley. Now obviously this isn't really spoilers because it's in the comics, but I guess you could say it's spoilers. So anyway, I really loved Oscar Isaac's performance, and I love the cast in this entire movie, and I think that it fits really well within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I really want to see more Moon Knight in this episode. During the process of editing this video, I realized that I said I want to see more Moon Knight throughout the MCU, is what I meant. Okay, with like every Marvel show and Marvel project and every movie or whatever, there's always a problem that I have, and the main problem that I had with this series, at least towards the end, was the pacing of the final episode. It definitely feels like it was rushed, and I believe definitely needed to be a bit longer. I think the time of that episode clocks in about 35 to like 45 minutes. I would definitely say that episode needed about a good 10-15 minutes episode, like another 10-15 minutes within that episode to kind of settle with the pacing and all that stuff, because it's just really fast and all that stuff. And obviously you're introducing a third version of Moon Knight, Jake Lockley, at the very end, so it's kind of like, what's going on? You definitely had the pacing issue throughout the movie, and one of the complaints I did hear within this series is that there's not enough blood. And for a character of Moon Knight, since it is supposed to be a darker show, I can see the reasoning why it's meant to be that, why people want more blood with Moon Knight, but I can kind of understand why they didn't do it. Now obviously there are scenes where the CGI just doesn't really look great, especially within the final episode, where Mark ends up bringing on the Moon Knight outfit, and you can definitely tell that. So anyway, we're going to talk about the spoilers. Okay, so I kind of want to talk about the acting in this movie, because the acting is pretty great, especially with Oscar Isaac, who obviously, yes, we're in spoiler territory, has to play 3 different characters. He goes from playing Steven to Mock and Jake Lockley at the very end. And the cool thing about it is that Steven is British, Mark is American, well, at least has an English-American accent, and Jake Lockley is Hispanic, which is really cool and definitely shows the wide variety of acting that Oscar Isaac has. And there are some scenes that I did notice where it's kind of like very flat acting, like it's kind of there's a term for it, but I can't really think of it, but where the acting is just kind of flat. It's like two-dimensional acting, and it's kind of sucks in a way. But the action in this movie it's good at some points, but it's also not good at the same time. Like the first episode at the very end where Steven becomes Mark, and then Mark ends up putting the Moon Knight outfit on and drags the Jackal into the bathroom. That was a great action one-shot scene, which was amazing. And then like 2 episodes later, you have Moon Knight who ends up grabbing the Jackal, well, another Jackal, and just jumps. And it's like there's no weight. There's no like weight to like holding a Jackal or nothing. It's just like he gracefully jumps and everything. And maybe that has to do with the whole fact that he's possessed, well, no, that he has the powers of a god. At least he's protected by an Egyptian god and gives him powers and all that. But like I said, I'm not familiar with the Moon Knight character nor the comics. And the love interest in this show, Layla, which, like I said, I'm not familiar with her besides the fact that her father was killed at an excavation site that Mark happened to be at and is accused for, well, got accused for, ends up getting powers later on in the show by becoming an avatar of Hippo. That's actually kind of a running joke throughout the series with the Hippo goddess and all that stuff. But essentially, she gets powers, and it was pretty cool. And getting the whole like, "Are you Egyptian superhero?" and everything. I thought that was actually a pretty cool moment, and I really want to see Moon Knight and Layla like be a part of the Avengers or Midnight Suns, which honestly which I just found out that it is a MCU project that's being worked on now. The Midnight Suns involves characters like Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, not Punisher, Blade, sometimes Moon Knight every now and then, and there's like one other character I can't remember, but essentially that's the Midnight Suns, and I would really love to see those two be a part of that. Now the main villain, I can't remember his name, but essentially he becomes the avatar of Ahmed, and the whole conflict between Khonshu's belief, like morals and everything, and Ahmed's morals of kind of like killing people is really is the whole, pretty much the whole conflict, and is really interesting. We don't find out until later on what this whole Ahmed cult is about, and it's very kind of like what's going on kind of thing. Like, I really don't need to be here at all. Like, I feel very unsafe. Ahmed essentially judges someone before they commit the act. So, like, let's say for an example, if a child, like a baby, were to commit a very terrible thing in its future, Ahmed would immediately judge it and basically kill the child. So that's the whole thing with that. But Khonshu's thing is, if someone commits something that's bad and all that stuff, he is the fist of vengeance and all that. And I love the conversations between Steven and Mark. It's absolutely hilarious throughout the show. So anyway, that is pretty much it. I really wanted a second season of Moon Knight, especially with the cliffhanger of Jake Lockley killing the avatar of Ahmed, and with Khonshu and all that stuff. It's kind of like, whoa, that was kind of surprising. I'm going to give the show an 8 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed this. It was really refreshing and something new in the MCU. Obviously, the pacing, the CGI, and the short amount of episodes, because we only get 6 episodes. Like, I would have been okay with 7 or 8 episodes even, because I wanted more story with this character, because this is the origin, and this is my first introduction. I figured we would have gotten more episodes, or at least an announcement for a second season. So anyway, I'm going to give this show a rating of 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed Moon Knight, and I want to see more. So anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts on Moon Knight. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What were some of the things that you didn't really care for? Or where do you think we can see Moon Knight in the future of the MCU? So with that being said,